locations, but I can help you travel anywhere. And today we're at Niagara Falls State Park in Niagara Falls, New York. So this is the New York side of Niagara Falls versus the Canada side. We're going to do two of the most popular activities today. First is the Maid of the Mist, which is a boat tour that takes you up close to the falls. And second is Cave of the Winds, which is a series of boardwalks and steps that gets you really, really close to the falls in person. I'll share information on tickets linked below. There are some combination passes you can get as well as individual tickets. Now, you cannot make reservations at either of these activities, which is a little bit of a bummer. So make sure that you check the hours, and if you really want to not wait in a line, I would come during the week, or I would come really early in the morning and rope drop the activity. One quick note about preparing for this visit. So both of these, particularly Cave of the Winds, you're going to get pretty wet, or you have the ability to get pretty wet. So I have got on waterproof hiking boots, waterproof socks, and I've got like athletic wear on that will dry really fast after I get wet, and then I've got a rain jacket. Both of these activities will provide you with a poncho. So I think really the key thing is to know that you're going to get wet, have a change in clothes for afterwards, or plan to go back to your hotel after you do these activities, and best practice would be to wear something that dries quickly. I've also got a waterproof hat on, so we'll see how it goes. We're here at 8 o'clock in the morning, which is an hour before the Maid of the Mist starts. It is a Sunday in June of 2022, and we are about to go wait in line to see if we can get some tickets to Maid of the Mist, and then hop on one of the first boats of the morning, and I'm going to take you with us. Maid of the Mist does not offer reservations, and they do not pre-sale tickets, so it's first come, first serve. We got there 45 minutes before opening on a Sunday, and we ended up, when everything shook out, to be the first people on the first boat of the day, so we did not have to wait very long at all. But you can see that they do have a line set up for a pretty long wait, so I definitely recommend prioritizing this in the morning. Once you purchase your ticket, you will go up a ramp and enter the elevator area, which is on the observation deck level. The observation deck is included in your ticket. I would recommend visiting it at the end of your trip. You will go down an elevator, and then you will enter onto the level where the boat dock is. You will get a poncho, which is included in your ticket, and you will walk down to the boat deck. You can see up there where the observation deck is versus where the boat dock is. Once you've got your poncho on, you are ready to go, and you'll just wait for the next boat. The boats run every 15 minutes approximately, and you will go on the dock and onto the boat. Now there are a whole fleet of Maid of the Mists, but they're all the same. You enter on the lower level, which is where you're going to want to stay if you don't want to get wet. I would stay on the lower level. Then you can go up to the upper level, which is totally open air, no cover. You can see there is limited seating available. And then if you really want the best view to be fully in on the action, head to the front on the top. There is also the very front of the bottom deck is also totally open, and you can see that here. This is where we were, and I would say it's probably the most popular, coveted spot. As you can see, people really just line the edges. Everyone wants an edge. A lot of people on the front, and our boat was far from like super full. It did not feel overcrowded. I would say most people that wanted to be on the edge didn't have a problem, but definitely the front of both the top and bottom decks went first. If you want to get a little bit closer to the water, the bottom deck is closer, of course. First up, you'll see the American Falls, which is on the left here. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, the second one you will visit is the Horseshoe Falls. You stay further away from the American Falls, but as soon as you start, it's pretty windy. There's definitely misting happening. And you can see there the Cave of the Winds boardwalks we're going to visit later. But the view is just beautiful. There's a lot of birds. If you like birds, you are going to see a lot of seagulls. As you get up close to the Horseshoe Falls, the boat does get a little bit rocky, and obviously that changes based on the weather and the day and the time of day, but it does get pretty rocky. I mean, if you're very, very prone to motion sickness, I would take something. This is the part of the ride that's like a real adventure. If you're on the front of the boat like we were, you're going to get pretty wet. The poncho did a better job than you would think. Like, it was really just my face and hair that was wet. But again, as I talked about in the beginning, I dressed appropriately and I was prepared for it, so it was totally worth it. So once you hang out for a few minutes in Horseshoe Falls, you'll turn back around and go back past the American Falls, and then it is time to dock. And as you can see here, I definitely got wet. The whole ride takes about 20 minutes, and I think that Maid of the Mist, if you're going to visit the New York side of Niagara Falls, is an absolute must-do. I had a total blast. It was so much fun. I think that pretty much anyone would enjoy this. I just think that this is something you got to do if you're coming to Niagara Falls. And I mean, it's iconic. When you are done with the ride, you will exit off the same area that you entered. And then you'll have the mass exodus up this ramp, and there is an elevator that will take you back up to the top. But don't forget that the crow's nest walk is also included in your ticket. Here's a look at it. It is basically just stairs up the side of a hill that will get you pretty close to the American Falls. Now, if you're gonna do Cave of the Winds, I don't think this is an absolute must-do, but it's fun and it's included in your ticket, so you might as well do it. When you are done with the crow's walk, head back to the elevator, and when you get back up to the top of the elevator and exit, make sure you exit to your right and check out the observation deck where you get a bird's eye view of both of the falls. All right, now let's talk Cave of the Winds. The Cave of the Winds is about a 15-minute walk from the Maid of the Mist. There is also a trolley that you can utilize for a fee, and you can, of course, park at both of them and drive between them. If you're going to walk, make sure to walk past Prospect Point, which has some great views of the falls. We arrived at Cave of the Winds right around 10 o'clock, and we didn't have any big issues with crowds. It was, however, starting to drizzle outside, so that could have affected crowds. They will sell you a ticket for the next available time. For us, that was the very next time that was happening. There is a little museum for you to wait in, and then you will watch a 5-minute movie about the history of Cave of the Winds and Niagara Falls. After the movie, you're going to go into the shoe room where you can get your foam sandals, which are included in the cost of your ticket. This is to help you not get super wet shoes. I chose not to utilize these. I wore waterproof shoes, and I didn't trust myself not to break an ankle in those things. So it's totally up to you. It's not required that you use their shoes. You're then going to go in an elevator, which is going to take you down into a brief tunnel. So claustrophobia warning for this portion. And that is going to take you to where the boardwalks are for the Cave of the Winds. And you're actually not going to receive your poncho until you are down here, which, as you can see, it was raining when we went, so that was inconvenient. At this point, you're on your own to explore the boardwalks. You can take as much time as you would like. And there definitely is mist that you're going to get from the falls. I mean, here it's raining, so it's extra misty, but there's definitely mist from the falls you're going to experience. But if you don't want to walk through the boardwalks that are super close where you're going to get more wet, you don't have to. It's up to you. You can kind of choose your own adventure at this point. These are the most up-close views of the falls that you're going to get from in front of them as opposed to behind and above them. And the views are really, really cool. You can really feel and see the power of these falls. Now, these boardwalks have a lot of stairs, and there's really not a good mobility workaround. So keep that in mind if that is going to be something that's going to affect your party. There is one part where you can get absolutely soaked if you want to. And yeah, I was soaked, but it was totally worth it. So after that, we exited, and there are lots of birds to see here as well. And you can also smell them, but there were even babies when we were there, so that was pretty cool. You'll exit back through that elevator, and you'll find a cafe as well as a gift shop. After you visit Cave of the Winds, make sure to make the short walk over to Terrapin Point, where you can get really, really close to the top of the Horseshoe Falls. So my review of Cave of the Winds, it was so awesome. If you like a little adventure, if you like seeing nature up close, I think you will absolutely love this. You do not have to get soaking wet, but if you want to, you can. I think this is the perfect activity to pair with Maid of the Mists, and honestly, I think both of them are must-dos. If you have the time, do both of these activities. You are not going to be sorry. They're both something you're going to remember forever. I hope that you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you're interested in more information about Niagara Falls, I have a video about the hotel that we stayed in, and I will link it here. And I also have a whole Niagara Falls playlist, and I will link that here as well, that has information about both New York